It started with a late-night news broadcast. James was home alone, mindlessly flipping through channels, when a strange news report caught his attention. The anchor, a woman with eerily hollow eyes, spoke in a slow, measured tone. "Breaking news," she announced. "We regret to inform you of the tragic deaths that will occur tomorrow." James frowned. Was this some kind of sick joke? The screen changed to a list of names. He squinted at the blurry text, and then his blood ran cold. His name was on the list: James Carter. He sat up straight, his heartbeat hammering against his ribs. His eyes darted to the other names. One of them was his co-worker, Daniel Brooks. Another was a woman named Lisa Reynolds, a barista at the coffee shop he visited every morning. His throat went dry. "This has to be a prank," he muttered. But deep down, something felt terribly wrong. The screen flickered, and suddenly, the news anchor was staring directly at him. "James Carter," she said, tilting her head slightly. "Your time is near." His breath caught in his throat. The TV turned off by itself, leaving him in complete darkness. James grabbed his phone and called Daniel. The line rang for a long time before his friend finally picked up, his voice groggy. "James, do you know what time it is?" "Did you see the news?" James whispered. "What? Number Y?" "Your name was on a list of people who are going to die tomorrow. Mine too." There was silence on the other end. Then Daniel let out a nervous chuckle. "Dude, you've been watching too many horror movies. Go to sleep." "I swear it's real. Check the news." But when Daniel turned on his TV, the news segment was gone. There was no evidence that it had ever aired. James even scoured the internet for any mention of it. Nothing. "I don't know what you saw, but it sounds like a bad dream," Daniel said before hanging up. James barely slept that night. The next morning, he rushed to the coffee shop, hoping to see Lisa. She was there, alive and well, handing out lattes as if nothing had happened. Relief washed over him. Maybe he had imagined everything. But then, as Lisa stepped outside for her break, a car lost control and swerved onto the sidewalk. James could only watch in horror as the vehicle struck her. The impact sent her flying. She hit the pavement, motionless. Blood pooled around her head. People screamed. Someone called for help. James stood frozen. Lisa Reynolds was dead. Just like the news had predicted. Panic surged through him. He called Daniel again. "Lisa is dead. She was on the list, Daniel. I wasn't imagining it." This time, Daniel was silent. "Daniel, are you there?" I saw something weird this morning," Daniel murmured. "My TV turned on by itself. The same news anchor was there, but this time, she was looking at me. She said my name, James. She said I was next." James felt his stomach drop. "You need to get somewhere safe, right now. Lock your doors. Stay inside." "What if it doesn't matter? What if it's already decided?" James refused to believe that. "Listen to me. Just stay put. I'm coming over." As he rushed to his car, James couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. He glanced up. Across the street, in an electronics store window, a row of TVs all displayed the same image, the news anchor. But now her mouth was stretched into a wide, unnatural grin. James jumped into his car and sped toward Daniel's house. When he arrived, he found the front door ajar. A bad feeling settled in his gut as he stepped inside. "Daniel?" The house was eerily quiet. The TV in the living room was on, static buzzing across the screen. Then he saw the blood. A trail led down the hallway. Trembling, James followed it. He stopped at Daniel's bedroom door, which was slightly open. With a shaky hand, he pushed it wide. Daniel was slumped against the wall, eyes wide in terror, his throat slit open. The message was smeared on the wall in his blood. "You can't escape the news." James staggered backward, bile rising in his throat. His vision blurred as he stumbled out of the house, gasping for air. Then his phone buzzed. With dread pooling in his stomach, he looked at the screen. It was a notification. Breaking news. The next death has been confirmed. His hands shook as he tapped on it. A video loaded. The same news anchor appeared, smiling. James Carter, you are next. The video ended. The screen went black. A reflection flashed across the screen. Someone standing behind him. James barely had time to scream. If you made it this far, you have to subscribe to Ghostly Tale. Who knows? Maybe the news will be about you next.